So here's the old graveyard in here. There was an old lane there that closed off. People are still walking it. I said it's an old entrance right away, you know. Enagh Lough. Enagh Church was probably, here we go, don't know, probably founded by St. whatever his name was in the 6th century. It's 500 and something. It was a medieval church of Glendermot parish. Donogh O'Cahan, a chieftain of the area. O'Cahan's out down in the valley, like fort down that way. Chieftain of the area, signed over the lands of Glendermot to the English crown in 1602 at the plantations. Most of these lands fell to the goldsmith company. The church had been ravaged many times over the centuries. The graveyard continues in use until the 1960s. So that graveyard there is going from 500 and something. The people must have been dug up. If you get a grave in there, it must be 10 times used, I tell you, to still be used after all that time. The church had, with that, well, found as a number of inscribed gravestones of the 17th and 18th centuries, chiefly belonging to the families of the early Scottish settlers. The oldest inscribed tomb are those of Cormac Hurd, who died in 1655, aged 74, and Captain Stephen Hurd, who died in 1695. Another tombstone preserved the arms of one of the many families of the name of Smith. That's how Smiths came here, boys. Whilst many of these inscribed tombstones of the 17th and 18th century are now lost, there are still several of more recent origins belonging to the later prominent families of the area in the 19th and 20th centuries. Many of them were associated with the shipping and maritime history of Derry, example Gulf, something and Cook and Adair, Alexander. One of the graves belonging to Alexander, whatever his name was, who sailed to Spitzberg as a surgeon on HMS Trent on Sir John Franklin's first expedition to the Arctic in 1818, during which he lost the sight of one eye due to snow blindness. Afterwards, you wouldn't think a snow would blind one eye like that, would you? Afterwards, he was for a number of years at the Naval Hospital at Kingston, Jamaica, and brought from there the wood, whatever it is, for his coffin. Well, gee, he thought well ahead. Both he and his father died on the same day, so he brought the wood for his own coffin from that island. He was thinking well ahead. I also wrote a wee poem. I don't have time to read all that. Hey Luna, where are you now, honey? Hey Luna, this is a graveyard now. Come on, behave yourself. I know taking any bones out of here now. See, we'll Willow the wee angel. You didn't have to shout at Willow. There's wee stones everywhere. Not all by grand stones in here. That's what I'm saying, these graves are 110 years old. Them out trees there, grow, what do you call them trees? They grow old. So there's that wee one there. Small cross inscribed with the number 701. It's not telling you about it, but it's just telling you about a wee cross in here. Is that up there in front over there, boys? See what I'm grinding on now, but you can make one of them yourself nowadays. It's just basically a stone. It's an everyday stone you find a dry stone wall. 1790 something on it. I can read. 1794, I'd guess. No name. So there's a modern one there, like. There's no way, I see them sitting on an angle, there's no way where they put on a bit of virgin soil. They just dug up all the people. $1990, the last one put on there. I don't like the idea of having a... Look, she's on the dry stone wall and one of the stones wobbling. It's been there for centuries, like. She's going to knock a stone off it. So there's just left a wee church there, like. That's where all the sinners used to go in there. But I always think modern headstones don't suit these wee graveyards. If you're coming to a wee graveyard like this here, why would you want a marble headstone? It doesn't blend in, does it? Like, I look at these rich people then, they put up the wee fence and all so they don't get dug up later on. Although I'm sure their graves are not near it. So that's funny that, isn't it? Like, you imagine the person who built this paid for that headstone. They're buried next to it. But whoever heard the money didn't pay for theirs. Just chucked them in and took their herdings away with them. I don't know, like, but the way the headstones off the side, they must expect to have a third grave in here at one time. It never happened. You see, like, I'm out polished there, that stone there. Imagine trying to carry that big thing and carry it in place. And now wrought iron, I think that's brilliant. If you did that today, you'd use steel and they're all rusted away. That wrought iron lasts for years. What date's on that? 1880. Pretty good condition, isn't it? So there's a wee road down below. We'll take a wee walk around it. She doesn't go around torturing things like. We'll go look at the wee church here, then. People might want to see it. I think they celebrated Christmas and all in there, and wee christenings and all these ones, but not all of them. The ones in the 1960s probably didn't go to that church. But I would say all the ones went to that church, there's not one grave left from it. They're all covered. All reused. And the recycling way back in them days, you know. It wasn't a very big church, you know. There's the end walls over there now. So it wasn't very big. You couldn't play tennis in here, it was too small. But you think, like, why did they have to build these things? It's not the biggest of halls. I would say if you had 2 whitewashed cottages, it would be as big in space. There's a wee stone down there, boys. The sun's shining on it. It's very good writing on it. Very clear writing. What are these flowers and all? Very clear writing that there. James. What date's that, boys? I'm starting to scrape the stuff off, but it's very crystal clear, the writing. Can't see no dates or nothing on it. But look how crystal clear that writing is there. So your man James is there and his son's also there. But James River's name lies here, also his son. But didn't get the date when James went in there. It's not the biggest of stones, like. But she survived well there, boys. It's not even the thickest of stones. So they're actually buried in the same grave as this big one here. So they must have been related to them ones. Obviously the wealth of the family's gone down a bit from that to that. And I had a wee fence around here, but the fence is gone. So the big grave was 1914, so that can't be that old there really then. Could be 50s maybe. 1915 is the last date in that big one. So then again, you know, there's a lot of people in here. Do you see the way they done the numbers back in them days? They carved out the numbers and these Mustangs were like lead. See the wee puns? See all the wee puns and all like. So they'll probably cast wee lead letters and set in. That would be expensive on his day there, like. Imagine each one of these wee things being cast individually. I like to see how things are made, you see. So, I wouldn't normally come so close to Headstone, but I'm interested in how this put together. See that wee thing about to come. 1867 is the first one. There's a lot of work to that, but you imagine how they even made them wee holes. No drills. Didn't have a drill. You're tapping that out. You wonder how they actually. Now, obviously, the fixing wasn't 100% perfect because some of them fell out. And you see, if you had a metal detector, you'd probably find them in there. They wouldn't have gone too far. 1913, World War I's on then. 1914. Luna is eating the grass. That's organic there, pet. Organic. That's good for you there, that stuff. You know what, but there's another building over there. What's that? Maybe that's the whole church there, you know. From there way down to there's the church. There's a wee wall in the middle. So maybe this was the holiest part up here or something. So the church was right wee size. There's a headstone there. Luna's just spotted that. And that's very clear writing. It must be just the way the weather's on it, or maybe people have cleaned it off or something. 1865. Robert John Lynch. What date's the first one? That's unusual. See, this wee hand's holding the wee scroll up. You don't get very interesting headstones nowadays. Not the wee hand holding onto the scroll. Like one scroll, the wee document. (1865) is one of the little dates on it. So that one's done the same as the other one, with the wee letters are put on individually. Three people on there. So they're buried inside the church. So this church was a ruin. See, there's other ones underneath. So originally you had the three big graves, 3 graves in it, and then somebody else has been put on there as well. All 1, 2, and all 3 people. So there's 6 people in that grave there. I think 1832 or something, the first date. So this church was a ruin back then. So this building goes out even wider here. It must have been wee wings on it, like. So it actually was quite a big church. So it was. When you first come in, you wouldn't realise it. I know Church of Ireland churches and all now, and maybe some chapels, not 100% sure, but they have like, they're built in the shape of a cross. This has been the same. There's another wee bit sticking out over there. See, I didn't know I was leaving today. We're going in a graveyard. You never know where you're going to end up. (1880). That's probably the start of the marble headstones there. Started bringing, I don't think that is marble. Would it be a granite? It'd probably be marble, granite, somewhere. If you had a modern machine now to polish that up, that would shine like marble. 1895, 1898. There's a wee bit of granite there. Man, they're building the railways, they're getting into granite and stuff. So I think that's enough of grave hunting today, isn't it? So if you're into fishing and dead folk and like a wee walk, there's a place to come here. I say the wee car parking on the side, you hire your wee boat and You just go out and sit in the lake. Private plane. What it is, I'm just reading that thing. Oh, this is telling you about the areas and all that. So there we are now. There's the house there in the middle. And I'm in Grandchild with Luna. That's the lake we're beside. So if you imagine that house sitting there, and they're looking across the lake, and they planted a whole big pile of trees, and that's the big pile of trees that I walk through with Luna. Lovely walk out there, like, it's unusual, the big trees, but say they were planted for the view of this house. But it's also got the other loch behind. So imagine in this day it had the views of the two lochs. So that one's used now for fishing power boats. I was reading a bit of this. A lot of that there is just guesswork. There's the actual layout of the church there, so there only was one wee extension on the side. But look, several burials are located within the church, making the ground very uneven. The level of the graveyard to the south and east has been raised by the high volume of burials located here. So does it always keep digging down, digging down, digging down? Whenever the church was built, the ground was a lot lower. Today when you bury something in a graveyard, you're left with soil left over, and you put in a wee pile and probably afterwards taken away. So back in them days, they probably didn't take it away. So there's, not everybody is necessarily dug up, it's just buried on top of each other. Going by this here, the ground's got higher. The oldest known burial is that of the man who died in 1685. That's the earliest known one, but the church is a lot older than that. So there you go. One of two crannogs in Lough Enagh East. Just one has been. Where's the crannogs now? We couldn't see it when we were down there with the trees. I have seen it before. We couldn't see it today with the trees. Bronze Age 3700 to 700 BC. So they made that wee crannog, whatever you pronounce it, back in them days. So she used to do a bit of whinging. She wants to go and terrorise something. And Derry Council put these wee gates and all on to the hill. We're going to take a wee walk down this wee old laneway, the way that the older people would have done back before trespassers been prosecuted and all came on. There's that been wee stone sticking out to walk across the wall. I don't know. No, that's way. So that's where you go there if you want to hire a wee boat. A wee rowing boat. It's not unskilled, like, you're not going to go cruiser. Well, it's a little after. We'll see now about going down to Ballykelly, I reckon. Well, I'll tell you what, there's one buried out this way. I wonder how they got that permission there. 1933. And look at the amount of space it took up for the graves. It can't be that long. Look how far the stones are going out. 2013. That's pretty recent. So they didn't want second-hand graves. They want the graveyard, but they didn't want second-hand graves. It's a wonder that was allowed there, isn't it? At 2013, it doesn't look like anybody's even attended the graves now. That's why you see our family grave, we haven't got no surround on. Because we know our nephews and all, they're not going to bother us doing that. I'm not one for running the graves myself. So we're just a headstone, no surround, and the council, they keep the grass cut. There's a wee gateway in there. If we know that, none of it could come out that way. Probably the ones who didn't want to meet the clergyman were sneaked in that wee gate.